YouTube releases new tools and options for video analytics. Twitter officially launches its new subscription service called Twitter Blue. WhatsApp announces new update to its business API, making it easier for organizations to get started. All this and much more coming up in this week's edition of the Connected Church News. Welcome, I am Nachi Lazarus, and this is the show that brings you the top 5 digital and social media news each week in 5 minutes. Let's get started. Our first big news of this week is from one of the oldest social media networks in the world, Twitter. Twitter launches its first ever subscription service, which is a paid service from Twitter to give you access to additional features and tools. Twitter calls it Twitter Blue, and when you subscribe to Twitter Blue and pay a monthly fee, you will be able to access additional features and tools like bookmark folders, undoing your tweets, which is a big one, reader mode, colors, icons, and so many other things. Now they are testing this initially in Canada and Australia. In Canada it is priced at 3.49 Canadian dollars, and in Australia it's priced at 4.49 Australian dollars. And they say that they're going to test this and see how it works before rolling it out to bigger audience. And in case you're wondering, no, the free tweet and the Twitter mechanism that you are all used to for all these years is not going away. That is not changing. This is just an additional revenue model for Twitter. Our next news is from Google. Last week, Google released a new advertisement testing tool called Manual Experiments. Testing and trials and experiments are a very important part of making an advertisement work, because you really don't know how people will respond to your ad unless you start testing more options. So Google has been releasing multiple tools. This is one of the recent tools which, according to Google, makes things easier for you to experiment, because earlier testing and experiment till date has not been very easy on Google. But now Google says that all you have to do is choose from one of the available experiment types, configure the amount of traffic to experiment, and set the test duration. That's it. And then you just have to go back and measure. And Google says they are coming up with 3 experiment types that you can start with: category block experiment, unified pricing rule experiment, and native ad style experiments. All 3 are a good place to start with if you want to look at experimenting with your ads. Our next big news is from WhatsApp. Last week, WhatsApp announced that they are bringing new features and updates to WhatsApp Business API. WhatsApp made this announcement at the F8 Refresh conference, and one big part of the announcement was that WhatsApp is reducing the time it takes for organizations to get started with their business API from weeks to just 5 minutes. That's what they say, which is awesome. They're also releasing some new options, which includes the ability for you as an organization to connect with your audience outside the 24-hour window. Those of you know there is a limitation now, and WhatsApp says they are bringing certain types of messages which can be sent outside that window. And they're also bringing a new type of messaging, which is like a menu listing, where you can list 10 items, and instead of replying to your WhatsApp message, your audience can just pick one of those items, just tap it, and then that will be a pre-filled item that just comes back to you as a response. So something like what they have in the Messenger as an auto response when you release ads. Our next news is from YouTube. Last week, YouTube released new options and tools inside their video analytics section, both on desktop and on the mobile. And one of the big features that they released is related to memberships. If you are an organization that uses YouTube membership is different from subscribers, right? Memberships are paid subscription service that people pay for, and you release content to them and you engage with them separately as paid members. Now, if you use that on YouTube, then you are getting new analytics and details from the analytics related to your members. So that has been something that's missing. There were some features but not too much detail. Now YouTube is adding that. Now, apart from that, another very interesting thing that YouTube is adding on the mobile is the ability for you to see what other channels your audience visited and what other videos your audience watched. This was available on the desktop before, but now they're bringing this to mobile. Our final news of this week is from Facebook, and it's an important one if you are into multilingual translation of any kind that's got to do with technology. Facebook had announced earlier that they are making a model called M2M100, which is a multilingual translation model that covers more than 100 languages as open source. Now, last week they have announced that they are also making the evaluation data set related to those 100 plus languages as open source. It's called Flores 101, and this covers multiple languages. So if you are in the space where you are doing translations in some sort and you have something to do with multilingual translations, like Bible translations and so on, this is something that you want to pass on to your technology team. Those are the top 5 news items I have for you this week. Thank you for joining me. If you like to look at the source links and read more about any of the news items, you can find the source links in the description section or in the show notes section, depending on where you're listening to me. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week with another set of news items. Until then, you stay connected, stay blessed, and stay safe. God bless you. Bye-bye.